everyone, this is the Promotory channel. Today we have the last episode about repairing this car. In this episode I'll show you how I repair the transfer case. It's my first time working on one, so I'll do my best to explain. You can see I have this box on the table. Yesterday I went and picked it up. In this box, in this package, we have parts for the transfer case. We ordered them from somewhere in Europe, and this package came from Kaliningrad. Yesterday I went to pick up. We can see that it flew by plane through Sheremetyevo Newport, a Russian airport, and it was inspected. So yesterday I went and got it. Now we're going to open it up and see what's inside. What they sent us. I want to show you that the second box is almost assembled. I've already installed the demultiplexer, everything is set up. All that's left is to close the cover, put in the oil seals, close the cover, and so on. So the transfer case housing is still in the wash. Nothing has been cleaned yet. I'm about to clean everything inside. There are rust deposits in the housing, some old oil deposits, and so on. There's a layer here so tough that even diesel fuel can't remove it. The engine and gearbox are ready. Now I'll show footage of installing the gearbox onto the engine. Subtitle. Subtitles engine-wise. Moving to the floor so you can lay it down from the second one. I placed wooden blocks in some spots, other items elsewhere. I installed the generator and belt on the engine and basically completed all possible installation so that there would be as little work as possible left to do on site to get it done as quickly as possible. So this was 2 weeks ago. A week ago I set it up on the base like this, and we can see it's already covered with a layer of dust. And 2 weeks have passed, it's still standing here. I should say that I'm not the one who removes and installs the engine. Other people handle the removal and installation. I won't add any dirty laundry here. I won't go into all the details, but I'll just say one thing. You need to choose carefully who you work with, that's all. And in the future I need to draw some conclusions for myself. In theory, I could just do my job and not care about what happens next, since it's not my concern. But I can't do that. Why? Because the subscriber, the client, came through me. Yes, so it turns out that I'm responsible for getting the job done, right? But I'm responsible while other people are doing the work, and I can't influence them in any way. Honestly, I have no words. I'll just say one thing: you need to be very careful about who you work with, that's all. So now I'm going to clean the transfer case, but first I'll open the box and see what parts we got. So we see that all the parts we have are original Mercedes parts. That means no other companies make parts for this transfer case. So it's not a common one. As you can see, we were only able to find original Mercedes parts. So Here we should have the bearings, and here is the most expensive part that we decided to replace. It's the connecting flange, which I've already shown. We look at the number 30 quintillion, 928 quadrillion, 200 trillion, 150 billion, 892 million, 820,000, 245. So we see that all the parts are the same. It's the same thing. So I'll just say this part costs more than 120,000 rubles. Yes, so a Ulyanovsky Automobilny Zavod brake drum of about the same size, maybe a bit heavier, costs 120,000 rubles. So we can see everything, even the gaskets, even the oil seals. Every oil seal has the Mercedes logo, the Mercedes number, all the gaskets, all the oil seals. I also want to show you something. For example, this gasket was made in 2007. This bearing is from 2004. This one is 2007. This one is 2019. And this one is 2020. I think I even saw something from 2021. This is a gasket from 2013. So what else do I want to show you? Here we see Mercedes packaging. The number is from Adresovsky. Everything is sealed. Everything is packed. We can see that the gasket itself has a mark indicating it's an original workshop part, and it comes with the L-ring emblem. So this is somewhat... Right, so now I'm going to clean it, but before washing, I'll show you some footage of disassembling this transfer case. Today we're going to disassemble the transfer case. This is a transfer case from a Mercedes vehicle, so obviously it's an all-wheel drive car. It comes from the gearbox, the drive shaft, and then there are two drive shafts, one to the front axle, two to the rear, and so on. So what's the reason for removing it? Currently the engine is being repaired. I'm waiting for the fuel equipment, and the gearbox is disassembled for repair. While I wait for some parts, at the same time we also remove the transfer case. So what I want to say about transfer cases is that I'm absolutely not a specialist, and this is the first transfer case I've ever worked on. We, or rather Mercedes, once worked on a Euro transfer case, but that was a long time ago. I'll try to record a video. Not sure how it'll turn out. We'll see. Anyway, there's a reason for removing it. There is. Here the seals are leaking. It seems the vehicle is from Kaliningrad, and apparently in Kaliningrad they replaced a bearing and a seal. We see this kind of play. We see that everything here is wet, the seal is leaking, maybe because the bearing is worn out. First I want to remove this cover. Now I'll take off this flange, remove this cover, and we'll see. After that, I don't even know yet if it will be a full disassembly or just partial. Maybe we'll just check the seal of the bearings. Basically, I don't know anything for sure yet. We'll figure things out as we go and see what happens. For now I'm removing this flange and cover. Subtitles by Diameter. So we see that we need special pullers again, which I don't have. I have to improvise, come up with something on the spot again, and make some adjustments. But that's always the case with things you don't do all the time. It's always like that. Alright, I put in this kind of plate. Now we'll try to pull it out. So I also removed the flange right away with the puller, and we can immediately see what kind of bits are here. Yeah, the condition of everything here is really bad. There's absolutely nothing good about it. Even if you put in new oil seals, they won't hold. So you either have to grind it down to a smaller size and use different oil seals, or look for another one. This flange, I'll film it with another camera now. So I removed the cover and we can see the condition of the bearing race. Just look at how many pieces there are here, here and here. So the bearing obviously needs to be replaced. So far everything is very sad, very disappointing. Well, the seals are obviously worn out. And we can also see some oil deposits and rust all at once. Yeah, so far nothing good. Alright, so we look inside and see some powerful gears here. This bearing, and it's also sitting on another bearing. And we can see a ring. Alright, now let's see what we've got next. So, well, apparently air comes in here and the air moves this gear and somewhere it engages with these splines. On the splines, we've already got quite a bit of wear here, plus there's residue everywhere. By the way, when I drained the oil, I noticed that the oil seemed kind of fresh, but it had this strange, unclear color. Now it's clear the oil was fresh, but it's washing out all these deposits, so it turns into this strange, unclear stuff itself. Alright, now I'm going to try unscrewing this bolt and try to take off this cover. I took out the satellite gear housing completely, and I also unscrewed these. I don't know how it comes apart. 5 bolts with a 19mm head, but you don't actually need to unscrew them. So it turns out that it already holds the housing itself. So I took out the satellite gear housing. And now I see there's a nut here, yeah, a big one. And we can see that the nut isn't tightened. That is, it's only being held in place by, well, basically the cotter pin. That's it. So now I'll try to unscrew it, and then I think this shaft with the gears and all these bearings will come out here. Yes, as we can see, the nut hasn't been tightened for a long time. There's already wear from these splines, and we can also see these deposits everywhere, oil and rust. Yeah, it's all mixed together here. Alright, so next I see a ring here, a large retaining ring. Now I need to remove it. So it turns out the nut was holding this ring gear. I unscrewed the nut, removed the ring gear, then I found a retaining ring. I took it off and already removed it. So this is the housing of the planetary gear, and as you can see there are bolts all around it. This housing can be removed, so I guess I need to take it off now as well, because there's a second roller bearing just like the first one, and its race is held in place by this housing. Subtitles made by Diameter, so you can hear how everything rattles. So now I'm going to remove the housing and try to pull the shaft out in that direction. So we can also see that the splines here are worn out. Yes, this is where the mechanism housing sits, where the satellites are, not the satellite housing itself. Honestly, I don't know what the correct name for it is. Basically, we can see that all the splines here are worn out, and if we look at it, we can say that there's practically nothing left of the splines, maybe just a third. Alright, I'll clean it up and show you later. I've taken apart the upper shaft, now working on the lower one. I unscrew the bolt, remove the flange, unscrew the cover, and repeat on the other side. So as we can see, the bolt was almost not tightened, it came off with almost no effort. Alright, so as I started to remove it, it came off together with the gear. Basically with the shaft and the gear. It looks like the bearing is sitting tight here. Yeah, the bearing in the cover is sitting tight. Alright, I'll leave it for now. Now I'll take apart this side, remove the sensor, take off this air piston here apparently. So let's take apart this side now. So I want to remove this cover. To get to this bolt I need to unscrew this fitting. Yeah, the air fitting, but the wrench doesn't fit, the wrench won't go in. So this isn't German technology anymore. This is already made in Russia, something that's been modified.
How am I supposed to unscrew it? Interesting.
They somehow screwed it in here. Yeah. So they screwed it in just like that, just barely a millimeter. Alright, I need to think and look around. Could it really be factory made like this? Alright, so we can see there used to be adjustment rings here, but all that's left of them is crushed. Alright, so I guess now I need to remove this bearing from the shaft. The speedometer drive is mechanical. And then I need to figure out how to take off this bearing. Basically I have a similar puller. Yeah, something like that. I'll try to remove this bearing and then I'll go ahead and unscrew this cover. Yeah, this is the shifting clutch. As you can see, it's all corroded too. Alright, now I guess I can remove this cover.
Unscrewing the bolts around the perimeter.
I've unscrewed it. This is our oil filter, as you can see. Alright, so we can see what we've got here. The one I mentioned earlier was the air cylinder. It supplies air, applies pressure. Basically, the lever works through the spring. So It engages the clutch, then when the air stops coming in, the spring pushes it back, and that's it. The system is very simple. Either this one or the one on that side is new. One of the bearings should be new. Okay, so what was holding it here? What was stopping me here? Basically nothing. In theory, the gear should come out that way. We can see some oil and water have leaked out here. This gearbox wasn't washed, just removed and brought to me. As you can see, there's water. E. So there was water in the oil. E. And also the oil that was somewhere here in these little reservoirs. Well, it collected in places like that. E. And you can see what the oil looks like, just like that. And there's rust and the oil deposits are thick, kind of like sludge, basically. So I took out this shaft, I took out this big gear, basically it's a gear wheel. I looked at different diagrams of how it's made, and in general it's just called a gear wheel. So we can see there's corrosion. It must have been sitting somewhere with water at some point, maybe something else. So there are some pretty serious pits. Well, there's nothing we can do about that anymore, so I think we'll just leave it as it is. That's how it's going to be. Let's see how long it lasts. But the real question is, how long this corrosion has been there? Maybe it's been like this for decades, nobody really knows. So, I also took a quick look at the satellites here. There's already a bit of wear there too. And also, this is our sun gear. It's mounted together with the shaft. And if you look closely, you can see there's some wear on it too. We'll leave this as it is for now, since I've taken everything out. Next, I need to remove the cover and check the bearings. I'm still considering whether to take it off now. We can also see this intermediate gear. It has the same kind of pitting. For example, here's a tooth, here's a smaller one, and here there's a lot. And look how deep this one is. Well, as I said, we won't do anything with this. We'll leave it all as it is. So now I'll remove these 3 bolts here and 3 bolts on the other side. Then we'll get some kind of shaft out and the bearings. So we'll take all this out. That's it. Wait, we still need to remove this shaft too. We hear you. We can hear how it rattles, and you can actually see pitting on the separator. I'm pretty sure there will be similar pitting on the balls, on the races and so on. I don't know, the action camera doesn't really show the size, like how do I convey the size of this gear? So for example, here's my hand. Yeah, here's my hand, and I also have a 25 centimeter square. Alright, so I took off the covers. As you can see, the covers are identical. Both have holes drilled in them to this guide rail. By the way, it comes out easily. So this prevents the shaft from rotating. Since the diameter here is larger and smaller on this side, we try to knock it out toward the larger diameter. Alright, I couldn't knock it out for some reason, it won't budge. Maybe I missed something else. So I took out the shaft first, I removed the ring, and basically the shaft came out easily. So we can see how much buildup there is here on this transitional flange I showed earlier. The faces are worn out and the mating part, I thought maybe it was removable, but it turns out it's solid together with the gear. Now I'll clean all this up, and then we'll take a look at the clean part to see what it looks like, and so on. Also, I need to somehow remove these 2 bearings. The bearings came off pretty easily because, as we can see, they were already spinning in their seats. So I wiped them off and I see that the bearings are the same, the number is the same. Well, and on the bearings themselves, somewhere, as I was just removing them, I saw on the bearing itself, also on the rollers, there are some pits. Now I'll clean all of this and also remove these bearings. So I washed it, took it out of the washer, blew it out, wiped it a bit, and now we look and see that this is a solid part. There are no removable pieces here, so it's all one solid part. In any case, there won't be a new part like this, most likely. Maybe the connecting flange will be new. For now, I don't know anything. I'm just cleaning and inspecting. I just spoke with the customer, the owner of this car, and actually there's a chance that there might be a completely different transfer case. Now I need to measure the mounting axis, I need to measure the drive shaft axis of these flanges, and maybe there will be a completely different transfer case, but that's just how it is. All the options are still being considered. There's no decision yet. So what else do I want to show? Well, I cleaned the bearings. Now I'll take out the race, and on this shaft I want to show what sound these bearings make. Well, so we can judge the condition of the bearings, what kind of pitting there is, what condition the bolts are in, and so on. So now I'm removing these bearings with a press. So let me sum up some preliminary results. Now I need to send the customer a list of what needs to be bought, what exactly has to be purchased, things that are absolutely necessary. Ideally, if you look at the overall condition of this transfer case, there are questions about everything, absolutely everything. So there's nothing perfect here. There are pits somewhere in places, some play and so on. So there's nothing perfect here. So if you want to do it properly, it's just, well, probably easier to get a new or different one. I don't even know what's easier. Right now I'm talking about what we need, what is necessary just to make it work somehow. That's what I've put on the table. But not all the bearings are here. There are some bearings that still need to be removed. Why am I not removing them? Well, because maybe there will be a decision to install a different transfer case. For example, what's the point of all this work? There's really no point. There's a catalog for this transfer case, so you can look everything up there. But I'll still take some photos and send them to the customer. So, as I understand it, our main problem is with this connecting flange, or whatever it's called. I looked it up online by this number. Well, the mating part is also worn, as I already showed, but there's definitely nothing we can do about it. And the wear there isn't as bad. Here it's worse. So, at the very least, we need to replace this part. And also these small bearings, the little ball bearings. So here's one number. The second and third, this is the race. Basically, the main thing we're replacing is the bearings. That's it. All the oil seals, any gaskets if there are any, and also this part here, the spare part, the pan, the bell, you can call it whatever you want. This one can only be ordered from Germany, and the delivery time is from 25 days. So that means the car will be out of my channel by mid-June, or maybe even by the end of June. So no decisions have been made about the transfer case yet. Well, these are the preliminary results for now. If there are any updates or news, I'll let you know. And maybe there will be a different transfer case and so on. Well, in any case, this video will be released on the channel, even if it's short, even if it's just about the teardown. That's how things are for now. We'll wait for more news. That's all for now. So that's it. This is how I took it apart and explained it as best as I could. Like I said before, the transfer case is not really my specialty. So I washed everything, got everything ready for assembly in the housing, washed everything inside. I removed the old gaskets, brushed everything, degreased it, and washed all the internal parts. Well, basically, everything is ready. Everything is prepared for assembly. I've already pressed in the bearings, checked where they should be. So basically, we're only replacing 6 bearings. Here are 1, 2, 3, 2 over there, and another should arrive. I've arranged the bearings and I'm now installing them. Before we start assembling, not sure what to say here. There probably won't be many comments. We're assembling everything in reverse order. There may be adjustment washers, but we'll check everything as we go. So we'll also have to work with this flange, as you can see here. As I showed during disassembly, the oil seal spot is worn, so we'll need a smaller diameter seal with a smaller inner diameter. I think it's off by a few millimeters, so I'll need to clamp it in the machine. The dial indicator will be set up along this surface to eliminate any runout. And then I'll grind off a few millimeters, about -4 to 9, something like that. But we'll do that at the end. Right now, our task is to assemble the transfer case on the shelves as well. Here, everything is already cleaned, washed, prepared, laid everything out. So everything is completely ready for assembly. Everything is already assembled at the bottom. Now I've installed the planetary gear housing, and here the bearing is new. Both large bearings are new. I've put in the washers that were here before, and they're clamping. So as you can see, right now it's turning. As you can see, I tightened just 2 bolts, and now I can't turn it by hand anymore. The tighter I clamp it, the more the bearings are squeezed. So for now, I installed it without sealant on purpose to take measurements. Now I'll remove it and see which washer I need to take out. There are 4 washers there, some thicker, some thinner. Now I'll take measurements. So it's the next day now, and I'll tell you what has been done. There were 4 washers here as I showed before. First, I removed the thick washer, and there was a big gap, more than 1/10 of a millimeter, so there was play. You could really feel it like this. Then I took it apart again. I removed the thinnest washer, put everything back together, applied sealant, and tightened everything up. And so I measured it. Now the play is about 0.04, 0.05, somewhere in that range. It spins freely, it's not tight, and there's just a little bit of play, literally about 0.04 or 0.05. That's it, so we leave it like this. Now I'm installing this new part for 120,000, and then we keep assembling. As you can see, the axial play is 0.05. No matter how much force I apply, it stays the same. Subtitles by Dimeterzok. So, about the flange. When I disassembled it, I showed there's pitting and rust where the oil seal runs. Installing a new oil seal isn't useful, but you could still do it if you want. It will work somehow, but it will constantly leak. The oil seal will keep wearing out and so on. Here is a new oil seal. 2 oil seals were ordered for this transfer case. I installed one, and we still have the second one left. The oil seal size is 90 by 110 by 15. So, what do I want to do? I want to grind this area a little, that is, set it up on the machine. Grind this spot, reduce the diameter, and install an oil seal of a different size, let's say 8. Subtitles made by Dimeterzok. The width doesn't really matter much. What I'm doing now is going to the grinding machine, clamping the flange, setting up the indicator, and grinding. We see a runout within 0.01 mem. I'm checking in 2 planes. Here and here there's no misalignment. But first I set it up by this spot so that the runout wouldn't wobble. Then I use the chuck to align all 4 planes. Now everything is perfect. Now I need to reduce the size from 90 mm to 85 mm. Well, not exactly 85, more like 85.3 or 85.2, something like that. Alright, let's go. One more thing. Since the workpiece isn't clamped or supported on this side, I'll only be taking off about 1500ths at a time, something like that. Let's see how it goes. Alright, the flange is ready. I've made the size 85.3 with a little margin, but it doesn't really matter much here. Now I'll take it out and set it up. So here's how it turned out. I really like it. It came out great. I even tried to keep this transition, this fillet, and basically I almost managed it. So there's no sharp angle. There's a smooth transition. So I wanted to install 2 oil seals. I ordered 2 oil seals, and basically there's enough space on the shaft for 2 oil seals. But here at the mounting spot, there's no way to fit 2 oil seals. I just measured the new oil seal. Everything is fine there too. I think 1 oil seal will be more than enough. So the transfer case is completely ready. I just need to fill it with oil, and basically that's it. So now I can say that the transfer case is fully assembled. I installed the drive shaft and made punch marks for alignment when removing it here on the flange and drive shaft. I also marked it. When separating, you can see 2 punch marks. That's it. So I greased it a bit. First I washed it, cleaned it up, then greased it. The only thing left to do is to fill it with oil, but I'll probably do that tomorrow morning. I'll fill it up, and basically that's it. So as of June 11th, everything is ready for me. The engine, the gearbox, the transfer case, everything is ready. That is everything that was required from me. I've done. Now nothing depends on me for the car to get out of the pit. The only thing I still have in repair is the gearbox, but this gearbox is a spare one. If everything goes well, I'll finish it here tomorrow. It could be a little earlier, it could be a little later. It doesn't really make much difference. That's it. Now I'll hang it on the hoist, move it to the exit, put it on the pallet, and the transfer case can be installed. All that's left is to film the car leaving the garage. That won't happen soon, as far as I know. I don't know when, so I'll record the ending for now and see what happens. That's the series we ended up with. As for the repair of this car, the engine, the gearbox, the transfer case, the car has basically been under repair for almost 3 months. This is probably the longest, most drawn out repair I've ever had, and a lot of work has been done. The engine is a 10-cylinder, the gearbox is 16-speed plus the transfer case. I've never worked on a transfer case before, especially one like this, so a lot of work has been done. That's why it took so long. Well, I guess I'll wrap up this video here. Thanks everyone for watching. Good luck to you all, and goodbye. So as we can see, the temperature is around 70, well, about 70. The revolutions per minute is 70 and the pressure is 2.5.